Welcome to Online OHS Training Tutorials. In this tutorial, you will learn how to set review dates and alerts in the NDS Online OHS system. Policies and procedures of your company that have been entered into the system must be reviewed on a regular basis. The review cycle may vary depending on the item type and its use. Some items may need review on a regular basis, where other items, for an example a policy, 3 years would be typical, making sure that there must be no more than 5 years between reviews. Procedures, on the other hand, are likely to be reviewed more frequently, with machinery items needing alerts scheduled for maintenance and not just the data entry review. The online OHS system has been designed to help you not only show a history of compliance, but also alert you when these items need reviewing or maintenance undertaken. During the starter kit process and individual entries of items into your online OHS system, you were asked for review dates for that item. Some of these items, like policies, will highlight when this review date is due by showing a yellow triangle next to them. But there's also a feature inside the system that allows you to be notified via email of this review date. The alert feature can be found in the user admin dashboard area, and there are a number of alerts that can be set inside your system. When entering data into your system, you may have noticed that most of the items that you entered needed a review date. These alert dates have been implemented so that you can be notified when an item needs reviewing, and also to help you show a history of continual improvement and a history of compliance. You can now, in the alert section, set alerts to be received by either one or more people. But before you get started, you will need to set out a plan over the year when you want to receive some of these alerts, so you don't get bombarded by all these alerts at the same time. Work your way down the alert list and highlight what needs to be done for each alert. The first alert is the accident alert. This alert is when an accident happens and is logged into the accident register. An alert can be sent out to one or more people. This is a great feature for companies with multi-sites, as when an accident happens at one of their sites, their head office can be notified. So in this alert, you need to determine who needs to receive the alert if an accident is logged. Once you have determined who needs to receive the alert, you can then build the alert in the system. Select the arrow and watch the tutorial on how to develop an alert before entering. The next alert is the accident investigation alert. This alert is similar to the accident process, so you need to determine who will want to receive the alert to notify them that the accident investigation has been completed. Moving down the list, and the next alert category is activities. When entering an activity, you are asked to implement a review date. This date is so that you can review the data entered in for that activity, as well as reviewing the safe work method you've developed or uploaded next to that activity. This is an important alert, as there may have been legislative changes since you've developed or uploaded the safe work method. Now you may have numerous activities, therefore a good idea is to break them up into blocks over the year. So depending on how many activities there are, go to the activity register and reset the review dates to suit. After resetting the review dates, go back to the alert section and assign the person or persons who will receive and update these documents. The same can be said for the next alert, checklists. The checklist that you have developed in the system will need to be reviewed to check for any changes that may have occurred since the checklist was first developed. It might be a change that you identified in the last alert section when reviewing the activity, as changes may be needed to the checklist that you have built for that activity. You can see why now it is important to review all this data. The next category is chemicals. Chemicals entered into the system will have a Material Safety Data Sheet or MSDS associated with them. These MSDSs will need a review date. The information in the MSDS must be kept current. The MSDS must be updated by the manufacturer or importer as often as reasonably possible to keep them current and at a minimum of every 5 years. The employer should check the dates of the MSDS to ensure that all of the MSDSs at the workplace are current. Therefore, set the review dates of the more hazardous chemicals on a more frequent basis and less hazardous every 5 years. The next category is environmental. In the environmental section, you developed a policy in relation to your environmental impacts. This policy should be reviewed and updated to show continual improvement. Identify who is to update the policy and assign accordingly. The next category is equipment. Don't get this category mixed up with the plant and equipment section. This section is the emergency equipment found in the policy and planning section, and the items you may have entered into this register via the emergency procedure process. These items, including exit lights, fire extinguishers, smoke detectors and first aid kits, all need maintenance, and you will need to show a history of that maintenance, especially if something happens, as during the investigation process they'll want to see these records. Now, you may have an outside company who undertakes the maintenance on these items for you. Therefore, a good trick to do is enter the company into the system as an employee and then enter the position in the company as emergency equipment maintenance. Then assign the alert to the company and also to yourself so you can monitor when they come out. The next category is forms. These are the forms you uploaded in the record management section, and set review dates of these forms to keep them up to date and show continual improvement. Hazards is the next category, and this category is just like the accident category. Determine who you will want to be notified if a hazard is logged at one of your locations. Hazards that have been logged, just like accidents, have an ongoing review process. This register also highlights the yellow triangle. When the hazard was first logged, you implemented a control measure to reduce the risk of the hazard itself. The yellow triangle will highlight when you need to review the control measures that you implemented. And the last category, and one of the most important, is plant, which is the data you entered into the risk management section's plant and equipment register. And again, this register has 2 review dates. The review date in the alert section is the review date for the data entered into the system to keep it up to date. And then there is the maintenance date for the actual piece of equipment to keep it in a safe working order. And this is important as legislation states that you must keep equipment under your control in a safe working condition. It is highly important to keep this maintenance date updated, as it will show your efforts in providing a safe piece of equipment for your employees. So that is the series of alerts that need to be implemented, assigned and maintained in your system. So in summary, step 1. Set out a plan over the year for the alerts so you don't get bombarded by all these alerts in the same month. For companies who have many activities and other items, schedule them over 2 or 3 months accordingly. Step 2. Identify who needs to receive the alert, making sure that the person's email address is entered in the system and is the correct address. And step 3. Adjust the review dates to suit your planner. And remember, this is a very important part of your online OHS system, as it shows your history of compliance.